after derailing the podcast a bit, yeah, to and on. Glad that you're bringing this up now because you've got your cult with the Miami Dolphins. We're going to need you to start singing the Dolphins theme song before this podcast is over because they have a fun 1970s theme song that is remade by T-Pain in 2008 that we play on the podcast all the time. We're going to need you to sing the Dolphins fight song at some point.
I think the important thing here is specifically for the YouTube censors here, we are saying to anon. Very important distinction in here as the almighty algorithm looks down on this podcast. We're talking about to anon.
Yeah, we're talking about to anon and the 6th consecutive win Miami Dolphins going up against the team I've been saying all along was going to make the playoffs, the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, they came in there and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football.
I think I got your cult here. The Lumasanti. Go a little bit like Hispanic with it. There we go. The Lumasanti versus the Tuanon. There we go.
Because Mickey Loomis is the GM. I get what you did there. Yeah, roll on with the Who Dat Nation down there in New Orleans because please make the playoffs so we don't have to watch Washington or Philadelphia.
I don't want to watch Taysom Hill.
At least Alvin Kamara is more fun than watching
I'd rather
Washington.
Watch the Eagles.
The Eagle,
out of the playoff teams, I would rather watch the Eagles. Actually, who I'd really want, if we're talking about who we want, who we can justify for the 7th seed, I would say the Vikings would probably be the best roster out of the mix to make it. I'd rather see Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, even Adam Thielen. That offense alone is going to be more enjoyable watch than, as you mentioned, Washington, as you mentioned, the Eagles. And as I'm mentioning, I don't like watching the Saints. I mean, part of the thing that we've gone back and forth with you saying the Saints are a playoff team, they were not supposed to beat the Buccaneers. Actually, I picked them in that first matchup against the Bucs, but they were not supposed to sweep the Buccaneers, more specifically. Not this way, not shutting out Tom Brady for the first time at home in his NFL career, not shutting him out for the first time since 2006. That was not supposed to happen. Chris Godwin out with the ACL, Mike Evans banged up, Leonard Fournette banged up. Absolute disaster situation happened in Tampa. I guess at this point, we're already into the weeds here. Monday Night Football game preview, Miami Dolphins, New Orleans Saints. We're talking about 2 7-7 teams at the moment. We'll kind of revisit, we'll kind of bounce around subjects here, but let's just get into this one since we're already talking it. Out of these teams, you're on the side, the Saints are the most likely to make the playoffs, and the Saints get lucky because they are in this bottomless hell of the 7th seed that is the NFC as it currently stands here today. Whereas the Dolphins still have a little bit of work to do. The Dolphins have to win out. The Dolphins put themselves in one of the deepest holes that they could possibly imagine. And to their credit, they are the first team to ever turn a 7-game losing streak into a 6-game winning streak. Incredible mark by Brian Flores. At this point, Tua has better QBRs in the last stretch of games than even Jimmy Garoppolo or Mac Jones from comparison standpoint. So even Tua, though I don't think he's elite, sorry Tua non-supporters, he has made significant strides. They even did this last game without Jalen Waddle. The difference is they should have not been that close in that game against the Jets. The fact that Tua had, we talk about dumb picks a lot on this show. We talk about bare booty ass cheek type performances. That's what that one was, that pick 6 against the Jets. It did not need to happen. And that, I guess that's still part of the learning curve. But I'm sure if you're Brian Flores, you come from the Bill Belichick coaching tree, you were just cringing. You were furious internally seeing that one there because the best way to win a game is to not lose a game. And Tua almost lost in that game with that one.
Yeah, this is kind of the weird part for Miami is like we kind of know that they've played an easy schedule and we know that their offense still has holes in it. But even still, Miami's been super interesting to watch for the past few weeks. Obviously, we've talked about this on past podcasts now, is that it's really hard to figure out who Tua Tagovailoa is as a quarterback, even though we've now watched him for a full season's worth of games, plus, a couple more at this point. But we know Tua is a very accurate quarterback. They don't really open up the offense very much for him. The Miami Dolphins' strength is in their defense, as we saw against the New York Jets. Like the Jets scored 10 points really quickly and then couldn't really score the rest of the game apart from a pick 6 from Tua and an interception that set up another touchdown. So only when the offense gave the Jets opportunities could the Jets really score against the Dolphins. Not that that's like a huge bar to hit for a defense, is preventing the Jets from scoring, because it's not been a great year for the Jets. But Miami's not going to make the playoffs. I've been saying this for a while, but it's still a really fun story to watch it play out, because Miami winning 6 games in a row puts Miami in a position where they're like, maybe we, with enough hitting on enough draft picks and maybe getting a couple players here and there, we too can take the next leap into a wild card spot in the AFC. And they've traded 2 first-round picks to get Jalen Waddle. They used a lot of cap space, even though they have more. These are bigger picture questions for them. Going into this game, I'm just gonna, bury myself in my corner and pick the New Orleans Saints, of course, because I can't go against the boys at this point. And I imagine Juju's going to go all the way in on his Miami Dolphins, because not like I don't like the Miami Dolphins. I'm the person who's like pissing on the expectations that they're going to make the playoffs. It's a fun story. Yes. It's a fun story in the meantime.
You are correct. I will pick those Miami Dolphins here. And I don't know their fight song, but I'm sure we'll learn it later. We'll be able to drink the Miami Dolphins Kool-Aid on this one here. Led by their backfield of Duke Johnson. Fun fact I found out, been doing a little research about this one. Duke Johnson back from the dead. Did you know that Duke Johnson is the all-time Miami Hurricanes rushing leader, as well as their all-time single season rushing leader? So him actually having that successful game last week where he's the #1 fantasy back for the Miami Dolphins was a nice little homecoming moment. Also shows you just how bad the Jets rushing defense is. If you bet against the Jets rushing defense, you're probably going to win 10 times out of 10, 11 times out of 10. Check that, 12 times out of 10, because they are just that significantly bad. What I'm going to say, how the Dolphins are going to get there. They're going to get there with a big man touchdown. I'm saying it again. Christian Wilkins, give me that worm touchdown celebration that everyone's talking about, huh? Give me a little bit of that. No, I think some stuff that is hard to really buy into when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. They won. Yeah, their defense was amazing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But that offense and I think Brian Flores and the Dolphins could do a great job at containing that New Orleans Saints offense. Did you realize that Marquez Callaway was their first wide receiver / tight end with a 100-yard performance this season?
I'm aware, because I drafted him in fantasy football and he's been sitting on my bench the entire season. Like, I didn't drop him. I didn't add anyone. Like, he just was sitting there the whole year, just putting up 4.8 points a game every single week. And then he finally had one big week this week to help me get into the playoffs, except he didn't help me get in the playoffs because he's been on my bench the entire season.
Bottom line, the Saints just aren't explosive enough. If you're telling me they're that talent depleted at wide receiver, them not having Michael Thomas this season was definitely one of the biggest hits to their offense. At least having that guy, whatever you think of Michael Thomas as a possession receiver, I would have still loved just having him on the field. If he's running slants all day, cool. It's better than just having this quartet of Marquez Callaway. What is it?
It's not like Harris. Michael Thomas still isn't one of the 10 best wide receivers in the NFL.
Exactly. Even if his skill set is one thing, if you do that thing exceptionally well to the level that Michael Thomas does it, it is game-changing for an offense. They wish they had someone that just did anything well. Clearly.
Especially when you build an offense like Sean Payton has for 15 years that's predicated on extreme accuracy. If it's an offense that values pinpoint accuracy more than anything else, it's going to make your offense so much better to have a short yardage wide receiver that can get reception after reception after reception. And now this is the second year in a row that Michael Thomas has been injured. I know he played through last season with a torn MCL and a broken leg, and he still played through it last year. And that's probably going to ruin his career a good bit, but the Saints are about where we thought the Saints would be, which is fighting it out to try and make it into the playoffs. If you had predicted at the start of the season where the Saints were going to be, this is about where people thought the Saints were going to be at this time. And I still think they're good enough to make the playoffs. And I've been calling them the Saints, but we have a new rule on the Take It Easy podcast, which is they are the New Orleans Chimeras for the rest of time here. Is that for the next 3 weeks, I know you shouldn't use running backs the way that we give them 35 carries and destroy their legs in their mid-20s, but just give the ball to Kamara. Just to say the entire offense is going to be the Belichick offense of 40 run plays. Give them all to Kamara and a couple to Mark Ingram here and there. Just just run the ball. Just run the ball over and over and over again, because Alvin Kamara is still one of the 5 best running backs in the NFL.
The fun way it's working out for the Saints is if they do end up in that 7 seed, of course, their first round opponent is looking very much like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at that 2 seed. So we might be staring down again a similar playoff situation to last year where Saints go in and sweep Brady, because apparently just if there's one thing that can stop Brady, it is the New Orleans Saints in the regular season, of course.